Welcome to another Candu weekly webinar. I'm Adam Walker and I manage product marketing at Candu. And I thought I'd share a story about Candu's launch on Appsumo. For us, we launched on Appsumo because this would be an opportunity for tens of thousands of Appsumo subscribers to discover our product. And what ended up happening was that we had a very large volume of buyers and eventually people who installed Candu. So it became a very useful platform for us to launch on as we're still a product in our beta. In terms of the limitations of Appsumo, and you'll hear this from some partners who are a little bit more mature than us, who launched on Appsumo, say a few years ago, is that what they found was that they got a high volume of Appsumo users who paid for their product with a lifetime deal. Maybe the starting price was around $50. And then they were stuck with these high volume users who were expecting premium features and then ended up being a burden on their support. So I think one of the strategies would be to offer the features that you're eventually going to make free in your product as the paid features for Appsumo, right? So there isn't really a risk to you because these features that people are paying for, you are just going to make free anyway. So it's not like there's an opportunity cost of not selling these features. So an example of a company that did this tactic in an extremely effective way is a company called InVideo, which allows marketers to create high production short videos that would be used on social media platforms like Instagram. And so their deal launched maybe 3 years ago on Appsumo, and many of the features that they launched in Appsumo, which they charge $50 for, are now free on their website. So what are some of the ways that you can benefit from Appsumo users, this high volume of lifetime deal users? Well, one of the ways you can benefit is through bug detection. Second is through leveraging them for driving reviews for your product. And then lastly, to also build out a community. And of course, there's a number of other things that we could talk about, but I thought I would highlight these and share our experience with Appsumo users. So in terms of bug detection, we had several hundred Appsumo customers write in on a weekly basis. And that put an enormous strain on our market-facing team, which was something that we were warned about, but you're never fully prepared for a customer support onslaught. And it ended up being really valuable for us because, and this is why I really encourage people to launch on Appsumo, because I think it's a fantastic way to crowdsource your bug detection or crowdsource just your user experience with onboarding, because you'll learn so much from the feedback that you'll get from customers. And the nice thing also I would say about Appsumo users is that they're highly engaged. And for some context, our product Candu typically takes time for our customers to implement. And we found a really significant percentage of Appsumo users get all the way to sort of what we define as customer success. And then we would get consistent feedback from them about, I'm trying to find this thing, but I couldn't find it in your docs. We discovered that our docs is not particularly well indexed by Google. We found that our docs had limitations in its search function. You need to whitelist your domain to be able to have Candu components appear. And what we learned is that a lot of users were not aware of that. And so we added the necessity to whitelist your domain inside of an onboarding checklist. Anyway, this is a fantastic way to just drive lots of engagement and get lots of feedback real time from your users. Another great tactic that you can take advantage of when you run an Appsumo campaign is the ability to generate reviews on various review platforms like G2, Capterra, Trustpilot. And this worked out extremely well for us. I would say the lesson learned was that we started too late. We should have signed up for all of these platforms a week in advance, prepared all of our marketing collateral on those platforms. Instead, we did it right after we started the Appsumo launch. And for example, G2 takes a little bit of time to activate your account. So we were maybe 2 weeks late in launching on G2. And so as a result, we got fewer reviews on G2. But at the end of the day, the key learning here and how you take advantage of this high volume of Appsumo users is that Appsumo users are very motivated by getting codes to be able to get upgrades of your product. So typically how Appsumo promotions run, Appsumo users will purchase credits of your product, and certain number of credits or codes will redeem some number of features in your product. So for example, we charged based on the number of editor seats inside of Candu. And so you can reward Appsumo users, and this is condoned by Appsumo, that you can offer them freebies in return for reviews. So you can get reviews on Appsumo, and then you can also drive reviews to these platforms. And that's been very effective for us. And it's driven some traffic already to our website. And how to do this, just as a kind of a lesson learned or how we implemented it, is inside of Intercom, which is what we use for our live chat support. We created a automated email that would send out to any Appsumo user who had been inside of our product 2 days in a row. And then what we offered them was, if you're having trouble, please let us know. Otherwise, if you're happy with the product, we'll hook you up with some Appsumo codes, which are valued at X amount. And then we ask people to leave reviews on these various platforms. And this had a tremendous amount of engagement. You can see we had a 72% open, and then the reply rate was what was most important, because we wanted to strike up a conversation with the user. And that was awesome to be able to drive so many reviews in a relatively short period of time. And I think it's something that a lot of businesses struggle with. Like, how do you get your users to do this? Well, this is a great way to get lots of users to do it. And then lastly, I'd add that we also leverage Appsumo for filling out our community. So long-term, we're thinking about our community as a place where customers can answer each other's questions, as well as a place where people can show and tell what they're building. In fact, I would argue that if you have a freemium type of product, communities are the best way to provide support for a very, very high volume of users. So let customers answer each other's questions. And one of the things that we greatly benefited from in creating a community for Appsumo, and again, this is sort of like an after the fact thing. That's one reason I'm sharing all of this content in the webinar. We unfortunately didn't have the community before we went live, and then we quickly scrambled and put it together. And then we greatly benefited by having just a flood of new users to our app who had questions about our roadmap, who had feature requests. And it's also a great way to drive views of your video content. And this was really effective. And lastly, I just add Circle as an app has a Zapier integration. And so what we would do is every time a user signed up for the app, then we would trigger an account to be created inside of Circle. And then people could easily log in and then begin engaging with our content. Candu is a drag and drop UI builder for SaaS products. We enable customer-facing teams to have more control over their users' experience. You can imagine for the typical product growth, product marketing role, they have a very good understanding of their user's journey, but they're constrained by the fact that they're dependent on engineering cycles to be able to make changes inside their app. The way we like to think about Candu is we're kind of decoupling core product, which are features of your software product, from the user experience of your product, which includes onboarding, feature adoption, education, customer success. And the benefit is that different teams, if they're, say, growth marketing, product management, customer success, can have a lot more control over their users' experience and build unique pieces of user interface, different types of content, anything ranging from welcome messages to feature release notes to checklists, et cetera, for their users. And would love to give you a one-on-one design session. So if you have some idea about some experiment that you want to run, some change that you want to make with your user onboarding, we'd love to brainstorm different design ideas and we can prototype it live, and we can do it all within a 20-minute session. So please just drop me an email and would love to get connected. Thank you so much, everyone who has attended today. My email again is adam@candu.ai, and we'd love to provide support. to optimize your users' experience. Thank you.